Greetings, this is Charles McCall again with Mentoring Growing Leaders, and we've been doing a short video series from John Maxwell's book, John C. Maxwell, Relationships 101, What Every Leader Needs to Know. Not just what every leader needs to know, but what every person needs to know. And in this small booklet, there are 8 short chapters, and I'm going through each chapter. And right now we're in chapter number 5, but this chapter is so good and so full of excellent recommendations and advice that we're spending 3 lessons on it. And so this is lesson number 3. If you haven't seen lesson number 1 and number 2, from chapter number 5, part 1, part 2 from chapter number 5, I urge you to go back. So this is lesson number 5, part 3. We have 1, 2, 3 parts, and I recommend that you go back and view the other parts. And we're talking about how can I become a better listener. To become a good listener, you have to want to hear, listen, and understand. To become a good listener, you must want to hear, listen, and understand. Hearing, listening, and understanding are not the same. But we need to develop skills. And so we're talking about 9 skills that we can develop to become a better listener. And right now we're on skill number 6. Skill number 6 is suspend your judgment. We can have a perspective as people are sharing with us and people are talking with us. Even before they finish talking, we think we know what they're going to say, or maybe we have heard it before, because whenever we speak, we reveal something about ourselves, and so sometimes we judge them. We kauto in Khmer language. We judge them. Mostly, we judge them negatively. We think we know something about them. And so if you want to have a good relationship with other people, suspend judgment. It means don't judge them. Don't judge what they're saying until they finish speaking. And you've asked a few questions for clarity. Let me say that again. Don't judge what a person is saying until they're completely finished, and then we ask a few questions to make sure that we're understanding what they said correctly. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone and you thought you understood and you didn't agree? And then you found out that actually you didn't understand? You misunderstood what they were trying to say? Let them finish and then ask them a few questions for clarity. Excuse me. Listen to their whole story. Listen to the whole story, not just a few words or a few statements they make as they're sharing. Skill number 7, summarize from time to time. During the conversation, it's okay and it's good to summarize. You can let them know you're paying attention by making sounds like this. Wow, that's interesting. That's really good. Really good, thanks. These are words of affirmation to encourage them that we are listening to them. But then we can ask questions and summarize by saying, you know, that's really good. So can you explain that further? Could you say that again? Or we can say, okay, so what I hear you saying is, and then we repeat back to them what we think we heard them say. And sometimes we heard wrong. Sometimes, often, my experience, we hear wrong. You can also say, summarize from time to time saying, thank you for sharing that. It's very helpful. And so skill number 7, summarize from time to time during the conversation. Skill number 8, ask questions from time to time. As I've sort of associated with the previous point, you can say, so can you explain that again? Can you give me an example of something like that? Can you maybe explain that using different words, because I'm not really sure if I understood you on that. So you ask questions. You ask who. Often, who are you talking about? And so, what did you say? Could you say that again? Tell me again what happened. What do you want? Could you explain again? What do you want? When did that happen? Was that recently, or was that a long time ago? Where did that happen? Why? Why did they do that? Why do you think that? Could you explain that more fully? How did that happen? How can we do that? How can we, by the way, in your conversations, don't be someone that always presents a problem or the opposite view. Don't be someone, you know, when I'm talking with someone, often I have an opposite view. Often I have a different idea, but I keep my mouth shut and I wait and I try to hear fully, not always, I'm not perfect, but I try to hear fully what they're trying to say and not always just give the opposite view. You know, always, it's easy to give someone the opposite view. It's easy to criticize someone. It's easy to have a different idea. But rather than someone that focuses on the problem or the negative, be someone who brings a solution, especially if it comes to the place where you work. If you don't like something, don't just criticize what you don't like, but figure out what the solution is. When you go to your boss or you go to your colleague or you go to someone to talk about it or complain about it, don't just present the negative, but present a solution. What can be done to solve it? Be a problem solver. It's easy for anyone to see the negative. It's easy for anyone to see the problem, but be a problem solver. Think through, okay, I don't like this. What could be done differently that could make it better? And number 9, the final skill that we can learn, always make listening a priority. Always make listening a priority. I think we said in our very first part 1 of chapter number 5, lesson number 5, is make other people feel that they're the most important person in the world. And so no matter how busy you are, make time to listen. And when you're listening to someone, focus on them. Make listening a priority. Now, there's times when we're busy. I'll be honest with you. There's times when I've been busy and someone has wanted to talk with me. And so what I have to tell them is that, you know, I really want to hear what you have to say. I really want to give you my full attention. But right now, I need to finish what I'm doing. So if we could wait until this afternoon or tomorrow or 10 minutes from now, you arrange another time so that I can give you my full attention. You're very important, and what you have to say is very important, but right now, I'm afraid if I listen to you, I'm going to be distracted. This is making listening a priority. If you're going to listen, give them their full attention. If you can't listen right now, tell them that, tell them they're important and what they have to say is important, and make another time to hear them. Sam Walton was the founder, the president, the director of a huge chain, very successful chain of department stores in the United States called Walmart. Very successful, very rich, and very influential. He was the founder. He was on top of it all. And one time he was flying from one city to another city, and instead of flying all the way to his destination, he was flying in his private airplane. It wasn't a public airplane. He was flying in his private airplane. He told the pilot, I want you to land in this city first because I want to meet one of our truck drivers and I'm going to ride with him 100 miles or about 120, 30 kilometers. I'm going to ride with him. One of the average truck drivers, the truck driver, just a truck driver. He wasn't a boss, he wasn't a director, he wasn't a supervisor, he was just a truck driver. And Sam Walton said, I want to take my valuable time and my important time to spend 2 hours to drive with him, to ride with him, so I can listen to him. I can hear about his family, I can hear about his struggles, I can hear about his great ideas. Just to listen, not to instruct him, not to train him, but just to listen. And so he purposely made time to listen to others. And so I urge you, make listening a priority. Think of yourself as not just a teller. I have a lot to say. As you see, these videos get longer and longer because I have a lot to say, but I need to become an excellent #1, top-level listener. I want to repeat, hearing and listening are not the same thing. Many people hear, but they don't listen. And those who listen often don't try to understand. Why don't you become the kind of person who not only hears, who not only listens, but seeks to understand other people? Why don't you become that kind of a person? I think that you will find that people love you more and more, that people will listen to you more and more, and people will want to relate to you if you give an ear to them, if you try to understand them. Thank you for listening to these videos. We're going to continue on with chapter number 6, lesson number 6 in John Maxwell's book. But if you find this helpful, please copy the link and share it with someone else and encourage them. You become an encourager. And subscribe to the channel and like the video and click the bell button so that you know the next time that I'm going to be uploading a video. Okay, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.